Baruch Adonai Olam Amen Amen. B'siyata Dishmaya, Hashem's help. We're back at the limud Toratena Kedosha in Halachot Shabbat. Ish Mazliach Mishnah Berurah, Siman Reish Mem Vav 246. We're still trying to finish off Seif Hey at the fifth halacha. We are now holding by Mishnah Berurah Seif Katan Chav Zayin. Today is the 17th of the Mar Cheshvan, which is Monday, the second day of the week of Parashat Shabbat Chayei Sarah Bezrat Hashem. So Seif Katan Chav Zayin says the Rabbi, Yaharher Etzlo. What's going on here? Chav Zayin. So the question was that you gave a goy, you lent him an animal, right? And you told the goy to take the achrayut. And the second opinion was not to take achrayut. You told him the animal is worth $5,000, and the goy says it's on me, Rabbi. I got you back, right? That's where we ended off last week. So now, Oyarher etzlo bilvad shelo yomar lo me'achshav. Mishkon b'lshon Yishmael. So he says that a Jew, what does that mean, Yehar Hanem? Yehar Hanem, he says, Mishkon Bilshon Ishmael. Oh, it's not. So the goy says, it's Rabbi, I got you back. Or he's saying, I will give you what's his name? A collateral. Okay? So meaning a goy drops off at the Jew's house a collateral. And as long as the Jew does not say the words, this is a collateral from now, that would be kasher. So now, Mishnah Berurah explains on that. Pirush, what does that mean? Even though a goy comes and brings the item to be as a collateral and he puts it in the possession of the Jew, meaning it looks like what? That the goy gave you a collateral that you could actually claim from if the Motzei Shabbat or after Shabbat he doesn't return you the animal. No, sorry, the other way around. The Jew owes a goy $5,000, right? And it says to the goy, I'm going to give you my animal as a collateral. Oh, so what happened here? Really, whose animal is this? It's mine. But the goy could technically claim it as his because it's collateral. So now the goy goes and wants to work with this animal on Shabbat. It's allowed because, in reality, technically speaking, the Jew owes him $5,000. So therefore, the animal is like belonging to the goy now. And since the goy could right now claim his collateral, it looks like obviously it's talking about, but you didn't tell the goy anything. You told him, this is a collateral, right? That I owe you $5,000. So now the goy went ahead and used the animal. Good. If the goy used the animal, it's not a problem because technically speaking, it's like his already. As we know, the loans, when do the loans work? All the loans work always lemafreya. The claim is always from the beginning. When you gave a person $1,000, he doesn't owe you $1,000 in 30 days from now. He actually owes you $1,000 today. He actually owes you $1,000 from today. So it's like already in your pocket. It's still in his possession, 30 days. But here, same thing. A goy gave you $5,000. You gave him an animal as a collateral. So it's like, technically speaking, it's no longer in your possession. It belongs to a goy, and it's not fully yours. Therefore, the rabbi says it will be allowed to use it on Shabbat. Because the animal is in the possession of a goy. It's not like a collateral today when we have a whole house or a car collateral, right? You have a house or a car collateral, there is a lien on the property. That lien actually does not justify, let's say if he had a lien on your animals. Here, according to Mishnah Berurah, it's obvious that if he had a lien on your animals, on your bulls, and the bulls are in your possession, like let's say today we would call it, expensive bulls, the ones that fight in the arena, they fight with the cowboys over there, whatever. Those bulls probably cost a lot of money because they're trained to fighting. And to train these animals, obviously you need a lot of investors. So there are investors, that maybe there's loans involved. So technically speaking, even though the animal is in the possession of an owner, but it could be collateral. But the difference that would make it is where the animal is located physically. So according to Mishnah Berurah, since the animal in this situation, which is collateral, in the goy's possession, the Jew cannot stop him from using the animal working on Shabbat. Kavchet. So Mishnah Berurah says is that you should not tell him that specifically those words. What does that mean? What is he talking about? Shulchan Aruch says, Kavchet. What's the problem with Gazan? No, the point was that you gave an animal as a collateral to a goy, since you are not fully in charge of it, and in its possession of a goy as a mortgage, as a collateral, and the goy has it in his possession, he's technically allowed to use it. But if it was in your possession, there would be no use for it on Shabbat, because obviously it's still yours in your possession, even though the goy would have a lien. So therefore, that if the lien isn't his, yes, okay to be worked in your possession. It's prohibited to be working on Shabbat, but that's where we end it off. Kavchet says like this. However, you should be meticulously. The Jew should not say. What shouldn't he say? So Mishnah Berurah now explains Kavchet ubilvad me'achshav. He should not say the words from now. What does that mean? היינו אפילו אם אמר לו אם לא אתן לך המעות לזמן פלוני יהיו שלך. Even if the Jew did not told him, right, that if I don't give you the animal, let's say, if I don't give you $5,000 back in 15 days, right, so the animal will belong to you in 15 days. But the Jew should be meticulous, do not say that if I don't give you in 15 days money, but it should be retroactive from today, the animal is yours, even to use. Why? Because if he tells them you could use it now, right? It's like a Jew directed the goy to use his animal on Shabbat. Even though it's collateral. You're right, it's collateral. In 15 days, if I don't bring you cash, then the animal is yours. But if you told him that it's his now, and that's what we should be meticulous to not to say, meaning the animal is not acquired by a goy from now. He has to wait till 15 days. But so goes ahead and goy uses it before 15 days, still not a problem with a Jew. That's what we're trying to say. Because the Jew did not say from now it's yours. לא כנעם הישראל למפרע כשלא יפריענו היינו יהודי ואינו עליהם עתה רק שיבוד בעלמא. Okay? So again, היינו אפילו אם אמר לו אם לא ייתן לך המעות לזמן פלוני, he told him I'm not going to return you the money for that specific time. לא, תפתח את זה, זה לא בעיה. So he says, "Iyu shelcha," that they should be yours. Kivan delo amar lo me'achshav shelcha. Since he didn't tell him that from now it's yours, iyu shelcha lo kedam Israel lemafreya. So the Jew does not acquire it from the beginning. The Yehudi, when the goy does not buy it from him, then lo alehem ata rak shibut barma. So he says there's another scenario. What's the scenario? The scenario he says is where a goy is selling animals, right? Is already there?
Yeah.
So a goy is selling animals. Let's say he's selling 5 bulls for $25,000. So the Jew comes to him and says, "I'm giving you $5,000 as a what? Down payment." Good. So in 20 days, I'm gonna what? I'm gonna own the animals. Good. So the goy will have to be very careful not to ask the goy or write a contract. He should not say that the animals belong to the Jew from the moment that he gets $5,000. Why is that? Because if a goy says those words, that the animal belongs to the Jew from now, right? We're just waiting for the next $20,000. The problem with that, if a goy works with it on Shabbat, it's be a problem. Because the words of from now, those words make the animals, what's his name, belong to a Jew. And simply saying the Jew, it's like the animals are the collateral, and the Jew owes $20,000 to the goy. And if the words are that the animals are his now, from the moment, and the goy goes ahead on Shabbat working with this animal, that would be a serious problem, says Mishnah Berurah. That's what he's explaining the Shulchan Aruch that way. So v'yesh batirim. So Shulchan Aruch told us no. Even in that case, where a goy selling you 5 bulls, you give him a deposit, and even if the goy said that the animals are yours, just waiting for the next $20,000, and the goy goes ahead and works with those animals on Shabbat in his possession, some rabbis are okay, but it says it's okay. As long as the Jew says the following words to the goy: Mr. Goy, I acquired these 5 bulls from you. I owe you $20,000 in 15 days, but I give you a deposit, and those animals are mine. But I have condition that you could keep them in your possession still, on the condition that he doesn't use it on Shabbat. You hear what's going on? So as long as the goy heard that he's not allowed to use it on Shabbat, says Shulchan Aruch, it's allowed. It's allowed to keep those bulls in the possession of a goy. Okay? Now, if the goy goes ahead and uses it, since I gave him a warning, I gave him condition, he broke it, it's his problem. It's really not my problem. But I own those animals. I already gave partial payment. You're right. But since so what you gonna do? You told the goy not to use it. He used it. Okay? So it's not, and still it's not in your possession. It's still in the goy's possession. Therefore, it will be allowed. So Mishnah Berurah now explains this. Al yedei sheyazir, as long as you warned the goy. Says Mishnah Berurah, va'afal pi she'en lo la'eno yehudi reshut lemochra afilu ache shareh. Even though, technically speaking, look at this, the animal status. Those 5 bulls, what's the status of them? I gave $5,000 deposit. The reality is, the goy does not have full possession of the animal. Why? Because he cannot sell it. Since he cannot sell them to anybody else, right? But now it says his possession. So Mishnah Berurah explains that as long as you told the goy not to work those animals on Shabbat, and the goy went ahead and worked them on Shabbat, even though he has no rights to sell it to somebody else, still in that case it would be allowed. And over here the rabbi was lenient to allow, like we said before. There is a ish Mazliach here in number 2. What is that? Listen to this. Ulam da'at hamatei Yehuda. Matei Yehuda in number 2 ish Mazliach we're reading. He says, even though that there are a lot of people who are prohibiting such scenarios, still over here would be allowed. Why? Because technically speaking, yes, you do own those bulls, but since you still owe collateral on them, you still have to pay money, $20,000 still missing, and they're in the possession of a goy, and you gave them a warning not to use it on Shabbat. The shani she's here at a goy. Here it's different because you warned the goy. And he told him you cannot use it on Shabbat. And he told him you're fully responsible for me. Those animals, should anything happen to them, can't. Therefore, because of that, so anytime if a goy goes ahead and uses that animal on Shabbat, he is a thief. And so it explains that yes, the goy really broke the contract. He's not allowed to use those animals, but he went ahead and he used those animals, simply saying he is a thief, and therefore it's not the Jew's responsibility any longer. Okay? So now, so Sif Katan Lamed. I think we're going to finish it today. Okay, we might finish today. Let's see. So Sif Katan Lamed. Beichtov ken barakotehen. So, תהיה האחריות עליו, ואפילו מהאנסים, מהאונסים. So as long as it's written in their notebooks, like the responsibility. לפרסומי מילתא שלא יבוא לידי חשדה, okay? Okay, so just finish off the Mishnah Berurah. Chavtet, it says also there's an element of responsibility by a goy that if anything happens to the bulls, or they go up in value or they go down in value, since they have a full responsibility, they would what's his name? The goy is the Jew is patur. ויכתוב כן לפרסום עם מילתא שלא יבוא לידי החשדה. Oh, so he said, remember that when I buy those bulls, right? I paid $5,000 deposit for those bulls, so I still owe $20,000. But the goy, when I tell a goy don't use it on Shabbat, as long as the goy also understands, and obviously every business is like that when it's not wise for him to use it on Shabbat, because should those animals get harmed, he's going to owe now the Jew those animals, replace them. And I'm sure he doesn't want to do that. Therefore, that would give it enough sufficient reason to allow the animals to remain in possession of a Jew. It's not like really like the Jew has much option, right? It's not like the Jew much has option because he still has to owe $20,000. So you might say maybe the Jew should never give a deposit even until he has full $25,000 to a goy, or maybe that's the scenario. But we're talking about here where there is no option. If a Jew right now needs to put a deposit down for 5,000 bulls, and he's going to get money now from other sources, investors, to buy it with him, so he's waiting for that money. He just wanted to secure those 5 animals. But in reality, it sounds like the best idea would be is to take possession of those animals, and that's going to be only obviously coming up with $25,000 up front. But we're talking about a scenario where it's not possible. So therefore, because it's not really possible, so your animals, those deposited animals, are in the goy's possession. So as long as you write in the contract those 2 things: one, he's not allowed to work on Shabbat, and second, he is fully responsible to replace them if they get anyway in any harm. So that's like the same way we said previously. If there is a responsibility from a goy, that would be allowed, like we said before. Okay? Lamed. So the Lamed says like this. ויכתוב כן בערכאותיהן. So also a very important element is that there should be some kind of right.
Rabbi, I don't see where you're reading the Ish Mazliach.
Ish Mazliach was number 2. I just read.
But you just started reading number 3?
No, I didn't start reading it, number 3. You want me to read number 3? Let's read it. No, number 3 is Ubekaf HaChaim, Katav. You there? Number 3. Yeah. Ubekaf HaChaim Katav. It's written by Kaf HaChaim. B'Shem Olat HaShabbat. He writes in the name of Olat HaShabbat. De'acha. Over here, the goy mishutav v'behema sagi b'kabalat achrayut rag me'onasim. Where we already wrote over there, discussed there, that a goy takes responsibility for animals.
We're on Daf Yud, right?
We are on Daf 20 now, page 20. I should have told you we turned the page, I'm sorry. Okay, so over page 23. In Ish Mazliach, number 3. Page 20, number 3. ובכך כף החיים כתב, so כף החיים wrote, בשם עולת השבת, okay, דאחד דגוי משותף ובהמה סגי בקבלת אחריות רק בעונשים. Where we're talking about if a goy is a partner with a Jew, and the goy takes responsibility if he wants to use the animal on Shabbat. If anything should happen to the animal, he's taking full responsibility. We already mentioned that before. Ulam, however, kvar dachu achronim ksvara zu midivrei maran bebeit Yosef. We already learned in the discussion in Beit Yosef that these conditions are not only the responsibility for onasin, or responsibility for some unforeseeable things. That's not acceptable. As it goes down in Eliyah Rabbah, Sarad, so he brings over there also what Yehuda brings. בכל מקום כתב במאמר מרדכי, written down in מרדכי, שלא להזכיר מרן תנאי זה. No, Maran Beit Yosef, he did not bring anywhere this discussion or condition. שאינו שייך כל כך ליום אחד. because it's not really prudent to make such conditions for one day for Shabbat, or only you're responsible for unforeseeable situations. וברוך השולחן however כתב שכאן אין צריך לתנאי זה. He says here you don't need this condition, כיוון שהתנה שלא יעשה, ואם יעשה הרי היא ברשותו לאנוסין, because he already said, he made the goy, he told the goy, you're not allowed to do anything with those 5 bulls. So really it's not, that same condition is not relevant here. וכיוון שעבר הרי הוא מגזלן והאבק שלו. Since the goy went ahead and used those 5 bulls, he's like a thief, and therefore he makes them, it's like his 100%. Okay, we already explained all that outside. Let's go to Lamed. On page 20, Sif Katan Lamed. V'yichtov ken, and he's written that again. We're saying like this, that as long as you made a note, right, with the government agencies. I think over here in America also, every bull is numbered. Here in America, right, there's a saying that if you remember, there was a person who was talking always God's.
You're saying like all over the country, like every single bull has like a social security number?
Of course. Just like humans have social security number, bulls in America, or bulls and cows, every sheep, every animal has a code, has a tag. Every animal in America, especially livestock, because they monitor it, because they're afraid that there will be using non-kosher meat or whatever, poison meat into the market. They'll bring meats that are not there, so everything is marked, everything is labeled, except for private ownership. Obviously, we're talking about people who use for butchery, for selling animals, not livestock, selling animals for meat. Those are all tagged. Everything is tagged here. There is a saying I remember this man. He used to be a good goy. A good goy. He was a very famous speaker on the radio, on television. His name is we're gonna say it because his name is already dead, and just because I want to say he was a good goy, his name was Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey was a very good commentator in America, and he had a good voice, and he always praised God. Every condition, every speak, he always mentioned Hashem's name, God, and everything. And he was number 1 in America commentators. You remember him? Paul Harvey. Yeah. Paul. This is Paul Harvey signing out. He was very nice. Anyway, so he made a joke, a very famous comment. He says, in America, we have every animal tagged, and yet we don't know how many illegal aliens in America. He made a fun about it. He made a joke about it. They have tagged, every animal is tagged with a serial number. Yeah, but the illegal immigrants, they don't know who is in America. That's a joke. Okay, anyway. So now...
300,000 just in South Florida.
I would say much more. Illegal aliens in America, it's about 50 million now. I mean, I'm telling you, it's about 50 million now in the whole country, at least.
10 million only in California.
Only 10 million in California, he says.
Texas, they're speaking only Spanish, not speaking English.
Yeah, he says Texas, they don't speak English anymore. There is no language, official language of Texas is Spaniard.
You know, the common name in California was All American, Smith.
Smith, yeah.
Up to 10, 15 years ago.
Now what?
And then it's switched.
What? Rodriguez? Gonzalez now, yeah. Common name in California, he says Gonzalez.
Okay, Gonzalez.
Good. So since we have animals, everything is tagged. So says Mishnah Berurah that it has to be that it's written as such, that there is records. If you really want your animal not to be guilty, that your animal is working on Shabbat, it actually has to be written in the records that the animal still belongs to a goy, or the goy has responsibility on it. With the government, you have to officially register. That's what Shulchan Aruch means. Okay, number Lamed Aleph. is Sif Katan Lamed Aleph. He says that goes now into Rama. What did Rabbi say? V'chol tzedei heterim elu ilchatan ninhu v'yachol la'asot. So all those conditions, says Rama, are acceptable, and that's halakha l'maaseh. We are allowed to do all these conditions to have your animal in the possession of a goy and let him labor it on Shabbat. So it says Mishnah Berurah. What's going on here? It sounds like a 360-degree reverse, right? Totally reverse. No, sorry, 180-degree reverse. Till now we said everything is asur. Now it's like everything mutar. What is going on? So Lamed Aleph says Mishnah Berurah. Hilchaten ninu. How long more you have? Zohar. How many more minutes? How many more minutes? You have 10 minutes?
9:20.
You have 10 more minutes or no? Hello. Okay, good. Tell me that. So because I want to finish off the siman. So and we're gonna start Reish Mem Zayin, a new sugya tomorrow, hopefully. New topic. Okay. So says Rama Lamed Aleph on the fourth line in Mishnah Berurah. So Mishnah Berurah explains. Hilcheta ninu. This is the halacha according to Rama. V'hayoter tov shebechol haheterim sheyakneh otam. Says Mishnah Berurah, what the discussion is here is to go out from any speculation. It's better that the goy you acquire it to a goy. Bechol b'michrei gemura, that you have to in a regular day, not on Shabbat. B'michira gemura, they have to give it to him with full possession that he really belongs to a goy. V'iten lo ovgaib, magdama, give him like a magdama, like a contract, right? To support this claim, and let him give you all the rest of the money like a loan. And make it that there will be like a collateral, the best thing, collateral for a Jew to be certain that he's going to get his money. It's better to do all those transactions with the dayanim, with the judges of Beidin, if possible. In order to not to fulfill the Torah's obligation. It should be publicized. This Indian, those animals or whatever it belongs to a goy or in that possession right now of a goy. There should be any question of speculation. Rabbi Yom Tov is very much in it. If you follow any one of those conditions that you want, even if those are responsibility that the goy takes on himself, is also enough. Helps. Even though the goy does not have full permission to sell it, but since he takes up responsibility for it, that's also going to be enough. Since it's in the possession of a goy for any diminishing or even appraised value, so we see that Rama holds that we hold like those yesh omrim. The best thing, obviously, to sell to a goy completely, fully. So b'saif katan is within there. Just to be fulfilling all other conditions of people who are more stringent. Because over here there is a speculation of you breaking of Halachot Shabbat Deoraita. But if it's hard for a person to fulfill all the requirements of the heter, of the allowance, and it's also actually late, it's before Shabbat or whatever it is, it's like a person where a goy comes and he says, I'm going to plow all your lands, and the Jew really owns all the animals there, right? He owns all the oxen that will plow the land. So when he gives the goy the possession of the land, he will have to give him the possession of all those animals to work the land. Otherwise, what are the animals going to be doing in the land? Nothing. Therefore, and you cannot tell the goy, don't plow it on Shabbat. He's there to Arisut, that's his contract, he wants to labor, let him labor, and you cannot stop him from it. You're allowed to rely on the Bach, as long as you are annulling the ownership of the animals before Shabbat, a product 3, like we discussed. Because now everybody knows about it. Since everybody is speaking about it, no, there will be no speculation. And also annulment or disavowment or disownership has to be in a full heart, as we discussed before. However, this is only reliable when the time is pressing. But if the time is not pressing, there's more time you could accomplish actually selling it to the goy properly, making proper contracts, better. As we already explained in Mishnah Berurah in 14. Number 4 in Ish Mazliach. Okay, take a look over there. Lamed Gimel, number 33 in Mishnah Berurah. Dino ki'ilu hayta. It's like the animal is what? In the possession of a goy. That's what we said. Let's see. Lamed Gimel. כולה של ישראל, דינו כאילו הייתה בשותפות ואינו יהודי. Okay, so there we said it's like now it's like with the goy's partnership, even though really the animals are owned by a Jew. So what is Rama? What's the heter here? How does Rama allow it? So this is Mishnah Berurah. והנה כל זו שמזכירה או משאילה לו לעשות מלאכת עצמו. All this obviously where a goy is borrowing or lending the animal from you or renting the animal from you for the sole purpose to do the job for himself, for a goy. However, we should note, if a goy is going to use those animals to perform any oblacha, that's asur on Shabbat, for the purpose of the Jews' purposes, that there is no permission whatsoever. Even if you sold, that's right. Even if you sold the animal to goy, and now the goy gonna go and use the animal for your benefit, asur. What?
But for his own benefit, it's
Yes, all those conditions work only that we discussed till now. It's only if the goy.
No matter what, he's doing it for parnasa.
Yeah, no matter. But if he's doing it for a Jew,
it doesn't make a difference.
but if he's doing it for a Jew as a salary, let's say a Jew will pay him later on for it, it's going to be asur, obviously. That Jew. But let's say if a goy wants to use his ox to plow another Jew's property, that's not going to be a problem. Okay? If you met all those conditions. Obviously, the other Jew is hiring a goy like a contract, like a contractor. You know, he could come work on other days, but he came on Shabbat. That's his problem. Same thing. Now, so we learn from here, if the horses belong to a Jew, וגם העין היהודי הוא שכירו לכל המלאכות שיצטרך ישראל, אין היתר במכירת הסוסים לו. דהווה אסור לו להניח לעשות מלאכתו, אלא אם כן הוא מושכר לו רק למלאכה זו לישא עם הסוסים, להוליך לו סחורה בכל עת שיצטרך בשנה זו. Okay, now the problem is, would be, let's say you...
So he doesn't, so we don't have to sell. You can just rent it out.
Right, but it has to be rental responsibility of a goy fully. And as long as the Jew has no benefit from it on Shabbat. That's what Allah. We discussed that already. Okay, that's all. As a share le arbam.
I don't think we discussed yet to if he borrows the animal.
Yeah, we did. Of course we did.
We said that because the animals are doraita.
Right. So we said.
If you know that he's going to use the animal for. That's what I was understanding.
But that's what we learned till now. We the past week we're discussing specifically where the goy takes full responsibility for an animal.
Yes.
So if he takes full responsibility for an animal, he could work it on Shabbat. That's the whole purpose. Meaning that it's not even though, yes, technically speaking, it belongs to a Jew, but the goy...
I thought the whole thing was because it was as a purchase.
No, we're talking about lending also. Also lending. Scharo or rental or lending. It has to be in such a way that the goy takes full responsibility. You told him, remember we said you told him it's worth $5,000. Right? And the goy, and you tell the goy, by the way, according to one opinion, you have to tell him, by the way, it's $5,000 and it's fully, you must fully be responsible for it. That's one way. Second opinion says you don't have to say those words to take it out of your possession. Even if the guy said, Rabbi, it's on me, right? I got your back, stuff like that. So all this, Zohar, where were you till now? The past few shurim. This is exactly what we're talking about.
No, I thought in the past couple of days it was on a sale.
No, this is not talking about sale. Sale is not a problem at all. Once you sold the animal, what are you worried? Let me ask you.
There was a rental, but he was buying it for Shabbat.
No. We're talking about responsibility. On Shabbat, it will be allowance as long as during the rental, the goy takes full responsibility for the item. Even on Shabbat, you didn't only lend it to him on Shabbat. You give it to him for a week, for 2 weeks, for 2 months. The goy borrows from you the animal. Same concept. It's all the same as long as the responsibility is on the goy, and it's in the goy's possession, or the other way around, right? Okay. That's where we are right now till now.
Okay.
Now let's see the other way around here. It says Mishnah Berurah. Okay. So you cannot sell your animals for a goy just for Shabbat. We already said that, right? And then he sells it back to you. That's not going to be allowed. It doesn't work. סחורה בכל עת שיצטרך בשנה זו, אז שר אל הרמב"ם, אוקיי, זה, ואפילו באופן זה אסור לומר לו שייסע בשבת, אלא אם הוא נוסע בעצמו, אין צריך למונו מזה האחרונים. Okay, so now, let's say a Jew lends horses to a goy, and the goy wants to, connect the carriage and travel with those horses. So the condition is that it has to be that you're giving it to him, and he is taking full responsibility on Shabbat, and you cannot sell him just for Shabbat those animals so he could make a use of them on Shabbat. So it has to be, like we discussed, where you either take a collateral, right? A collateral that's worth those animals. So it's technically speaking, it's in the goy's possession. The goy could do technically whatever he wants with them, because that collateral is as if you already paid for them. Because you could take anytime you want money from those collateral, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to end off over here. But let's just finish Lamed Dalet. Rakshi Farsem. Oh, very important thing, says Ramah, said Mishnah Shulchan Aruch, and Mishnah Berurah now we're going to emphasize. We need to calm down Yom Tov. Yom Tov is going very crazy here. He is so upset. He says, Rabbi, we need to be choishish. We have to be very careful with what? Chashad, Marita Ayin, Yom Tov Rabba. He says, what is going on? What's going on here? People are going to speculate. You're right.
It's not only that.
Condition is, we will allow you to do all these transactions, lending, borrowing. Really, it's yours. Really, it's not. Really, it's a full responsibility. Not. All those things are on one condition. Davar lefursam. It has to be publicized. Meaning, what? Let's say I have a cow, so I have to put a.
1 second. This is the cow has a sofer name on it.
Yes, the cow is.
You have a registration.
He has a registration, and he has a plate on his breastplate, and it says Sofer's cows or Sofer's bulls. Now, so to that I have to put a little sticker for everybody to see. Rented to a goy, fully responsibility to a goy. Lend it to a goy when he's fully responsible. It has to be publicized that everybody knows that there should not be any chshaj that I'm making money from this animal in the derech of asur. עיין בביאור הלכה שהביאנו, דאין כדאי להתיר על ידי כל היתרים אלא בשעת הדחק. We already said all those conditions are allowed are only in the ways that there is no other options to get around it. ולפוקי מאלו האנשים שמוכרם. Obviously, everything is, there is no difference. All this we're discussing when there's lending and renting. However, you have animals that suffer animals. Everybody knows those are my animals. Because they are certain colors, let's say. They don't have to have a tag, sofer on top of the chest. But everybody knows those are very strange bulls, and those strange bulls are sofer bulls. Says Berurah, and he ends it off with a beautiful note. This, all we discussed right now, is lending and renting. where you have to publicize. But if you sold your animals, the moment you sold them, you don't have to tell the whole world I sold them. And even if they're working, and if some people are crazy, they're going to say, hey, Rabbi Sofer's animals are working, we'll find out that they're really not Rabbi Sofer's anymore, they're sold. There, I am not obligated to spend money on publicizing the current events. Baruch Adonai Olam Amen. Amen. Anyone who needs to work, go work, make parnasa b'shefa b'nachal b'simcha. You should not have any difficulties. V'siyata dishmaya.
Amen.